Hello and welcome to Teleislas News with the most important news of the day.
Taking into account that people who receive their first dose outside the island can be vaccinated if the dose matches the same laboratory brand, the Secretary of Health gave some indications to consider this July 21st in the new mass vaccination campaign that was arranged by the Ministry of Health.
The Health Secretariat emphasized the importance of attending the mass vaccination day to be held this Wednesday, July 21st. The head of state portfolio, Julian Davis Robinson, provided important information to keep in mind.
The vaccination card and citizenship card is the only thing they have to bring. We even have more than 5,600 vaccines available for those who have already completed the 90 days after having been infected with COVID to receive the first doses as well.
On the other hand, the Secretary of Health indicated that the sectoral sweep in the island will continue for the application of vaccines host to host.
The Health Department continues with its work within its micro-planning of visiting sector by sector and placing second doses and first doses to patients who need them.
It should be noted that the mass vaccination is more focused on completing the vaccination schedules that began in the previous mass vaccination day in order to make it more agile and achieve herd immunity as soon as possible.
And in the afternoon, the local government held a meeting with the owners of mule-type vehicle rental businesses to mitigate traffic accidents, which have increased in recent months.
The Secretary of Mobility, throughout an educational meeting, revealed to the car rental owners the accident rates for the year 2021, where 52 accidents have been registered, most of them involving mulita-type vehicles. With this, the departmental government seeks to create awareness among the owners of these businesses in order to strengthen controls.
The idea of this meeting was to create awareness to mule rental operators due to the high accident rate that is occurring on the island. It is no secret that this activity is leaving us with a red balance in terms of accidents, including fatalities, taking into account that there has been a 33% increase in accidents on the island compared to the previous years. We come to bring a manifesto of love to the island, to our visitors and residents. It is not only to come and oppress the sector, no, it is also to encourage them to comply with the regulations that already exist.
During the meeting, the owners of these businesses were informed about the current traffic laws and the requirements to take into account when rating a vehicle, and this to avoid accidents.
About the accident rate in any part of Colombia and the world, there are accidents. It is necessary to have very clear recommendations when renting a vehicle. For example, when I rent a vehicle, I cannot rent it if they do not have a driver's license, and the tourist must be told to read the contract so that he complies with the rules that exist in the lease.
At the end of the meeting, several of the owners of car rental establishments made the decision to initiate the legal confirmation of the guild.
An important proposal that seeks to benefit the fishermen of the department was approved in the Departmental Assembly.
This is Proposition 019 of 2021, in which the Departmental Assembly requests the DIAN to take the appropriate actions and steps to carry out the delivery or allocation of vessels that were previously seized in illegal operations to the Cooperative of Fishermen and Farmers of Old Providence or other cooperatives and associations of the archipelago who are interested in acquiring them and that are legally constituted and registered with the Secretariat of Agriculture and Fisheries of the department.
En la Duma Departamental presenté una proposición.
In the Duma, we present a proposal so that these vessels are not left rotting in the bay, that they are given use and that they reach the fishermen of the department who really need it.
In this way, the different institutions in charge will have to meet in order to advance in this request and to allow that the vessels that are at a moment without using will not deteriorate. On the contrary, they should be used for the benefit of the fishermen of the islands.
And in other news, 2 new courses have been approved in the Sena Learning Service. This was announced by its director, Lorena Aldana.
In order to strengthen the professional profiles and enrich the knowledge of the community, the Sena Regional San Andres notifies that 2 new qualified registrations have been approved. Its director, Lorena Aldana, knows which are these 2 courses.
Sena has as its objective and purpose to strengthen the program offerings it has for the citizens. As a result of this, it has recently received news from the Ministry of National Education, granting us 2 new qualified registrations in our training center. The first one has to do with software analysis and development, and the second one has to do with the coordination of hotel services.
The first has to do with all the occupation in the framework of the 4th Industrial Revolution requires in the hotel market. Coordination of hotel services is aimed at the main economic activity that the department has, which is the tourism and the hospitality, and for this reason, the Deputy Director of the Service Learning invites those interested to be informed of the following calls that they will be available.
And now we continue with all the information from our sister islands of Old Providence and Catalina. Today, a meeting open to the community was held with the participation of the Housing Minister, the Governor, the Mayor, members of their cabinets, the Manager for the Reconstruction, and FINDETER.
This morning, a meeting was held between the different actors of the reconstruction and the community. The governor described the meeting as timely, one where the community was able to express their dissatisfaction and some concerns were answered.
Reclamaciones justas, válidas, desde luego.
Fair claims, valid of course, and precisely with the national and the municipal government, we are going to work together to be able to guarantee the works of the new houses that have had a delay. But as for houses that have been rebuilt, that have been left standing, there is a significant progress. But now we are trying to move forward. By next Friday, there is a barge that will be arriving to San Andres with the materials.
Some of the participants saw the meeting as positive, some did not see it with much clarity, and others thought that it was not the best methodology.
La gente está expresando sus inquietudes.
People are expressing their concerns and the government is responding according to their circumstances. I can rate it as 80% positive, but I just hope there is a follow-up.
We still don't have a total conclusion with the government. So we're going to hold on the previous agreement what we signed on the 4th of January by the Carpa airport. No conclusion. We make compromise, but not comply. Them answer some things, but the things still going wrong.
The government talked. Then I know that the people expressed their problems, but we have not reached any agreement. There is no commitment, no arrangements, so I'm sad.
The Minister of Housing announced that the list of houses to be intervened will be published monthly. They will review the housing prioritization and that self-construction is being considered as an option. The Fisherman Federation, on the other hand, decided to abstain from participating in the meeting because the methodology and the location were not agreed upon.
And this past weekend was the launch of the book Clamor of the Islands, a book that tells the story of the archipelago from a Risal's point of view.
The Old Providence educator and writer Martin Pumir this weekend launched his first book, Clamor of the Islands. This is an academic contribution for the strengthening of the education of the islands community.
I really didn't have it in mind that I would ever write a book, but then while working at the Governacion, I got to know many things about the people from the island, what they were going through, because I used to hear other people talking about the problem with St. Andrew and Old Providence and Colombia, Colombian government and things. And then, finally, I got some written information about all these things.
The book compiles historical facts that happened in the insular territory under the dominion of the Colombian state, facts that inspired him to write.
I discovered a lot of things that was going on with the Colombian government and the islands from the 19th century. I got a little information, and it burned me to say all what we had to go through. People before I was born that had to go through with Colombia, and we were not treated the way that we should be treated.
Clamor of the Islands was written in English but already has been translated to Spanish. Some of the copies will be donated to libraries, teachers, and school administrators in an effort to make it part of the school curriculum.
He wanted to take up the clamor of the people, all what the people from the islands were living. with the government, with the new things and what came in our island, like the free port and them things. And you want the young people them to know about the history, so you write a book saying all these things.
Mr. Martin concluded by saying that his wish is for islanders to know their past and their present because he's not sure if they will have a future.
And in other news, ICU occupancy by COVID-19 presented a high decrease not recorded in recent months. On the other hand, coronavirus cases on the island remain at a low level.
The National Health Institute reported 9 active cases for COVID-19 for the archipelago, for a total of 95 cases of coronavirus in the island, according to data from the departmental government on its website. The authorities indicated that there were no deaths due to the virus in the island. The local government announced that currently the occupancy of ICU beds by COVID-19 is at 0%, a figure not reached for several months in the department. The departmental hospital reported that the prash tests will be conducted in different parts of the island, this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the San Luis sector, and Saturday in the area of El Cibar. The departmental government reported that 50,454 doses against COVID-19 have been applied through all the archipelago, applying 38,894 doses and 11,635 applied in the second dose. It is also reported that so far 90,698 vaccines have been received, leaving currently 4,244 not applied.
And every year in the month of July, the Emmanuel Baptist Church celebrates Black heritage. We remember our culture and our ancestors.
For the past 7 days, the Black Heritage Celebration took place where Emmanuel Baptist Church held several cultural events that included food, games, and traditional music that our ancestors used to play before and after emancipation.
It's a reason to celebrate our heritage. Celebrate the songs of old, the song of slavery that the people in the days used to sing when they were enslaved. We are just telling back the story, going back to the past and tell the story so that the children and the young people can know where we are coming from.
It should be noted that the gastronomic event showcased traditional dishes that are not currently recognized, and that the general objective of the events is to show current generations how the ancestors forged the culture that today we are trying to rescue in the islands.
Yesterday, the Clip Fest award ceremony took place, where the most talented participants were awarded for their outstanding work. Here is the note.
2 of the participants in the amateur and professional modalities shared with us what the process of creating their documentary was like.
It was a very beautiful process because we wanted to show Colombia and the unseen world what the culinary tradition of the islands is like and how it has evolved over the years. I worked on this important project with my partner Nichman Robinson, who was a great support.
This documentary was really a challenge when we were doing the investigation, the research. Really, there was a question we come out. We wonder why, if we are black, we look for ourselves and we see Africa. Why in a cultural expression we know the sea? So we started to do some research and we find out, say, well, through the drum and the last of the drum, a lot of things happen that not make it possible for we could express ourselves culturally in this African ancestry.
The winners culminated with words of encouragement for the new talents of the audiovisual world.
I invite young people to follow their dreams and come next year to Clip Fest and show their talent. It is a great opportunity for them.
I want to invite you all, first of all, believe in yourself, believe in the stories where you want to tell people, and make it try to civilize our culture, because as we know, our culture bears plenty of oral tradition, and we hardly have any material we can show who we are. So I think that for we job, we start the right for history through the cameras and through the audiovisual.
In the amateur category, for the documentary category, the winners were Jorge Triviño and Nishman Robinson with Fair Table. In the musical category, the winner was Shakira Wilson with We Agriculture. For the professional category, the winners were in the documentary Carlos Andres Cubillos with The Last Drum, and in the musical category, Ryan Pumier with Rise.